having her two compatriots witness that fact. However, the proud noblewoman halted before she'd taken 3 steps.
How did you two enter this place?
Her query caused the 2 men to turn. The place where the door should have been was a plank-covered wall. There wasn't a single crack to indicate an entrance.
Dear me. This is a fine amusement they've prepared for us. Do you want out, Miranda? Just wait. Now.
The Count raised the spear over his head. It made the wind swirl so fiercely, the hastily erected shack seemed likely to blow away. Pulling the spear back, the Count stared at the wall to his right. There wasn't a scratch on it.
I struck it. What do you think, Dee? Do my eyes deceive me?
The young man in black turned his handsome features in the same direction.
No, it really is shrinking.
It wasn't strange that the nearly 20-foot-long spear would strike the wall. The Count had taken that into account when he swung the weapon. The ceiling was approaching the trio's head, just as Dee had said, and the walls were definitely drawing closer.
What a quaint setup.
Even the most resolute human would have been bewildered at this situation. But the way she seemed to actually enjoy their predicament was true to the nobility's dauntless nature.
Count Braujou, can't you do anything with your cherished spear?
Humph.
The gigantic nobleman snorted, but there was something about his expression and bearing that suggested he too was enjoying this. Without a wasted movement, the Count swung the long spear toward the wall to his right. Its path was clearly shorter than last time, and it bounced off the wall.
Oh my. I may have given you too much credit.
Miranda looked at the unmarred wallboards. The Count's lips twisted as he took a new stance with his spear.
Just so you know, even if you stop the walls to our left and right, there's still the other 2 to contend with. What's all this?
That last cry of surprise came when she saw Dee step forward. His right hand flowed toward his shoulder, and a silvery flash split the dancing lamplight. A line had been carved into the wall. The line immediately faded. Sheathing his blade, Dee stepped closer to the wall and pressed his left hand against it.
It seems to absorb gravity. Think of the house itself as a kind of black hole. Beyond the boards, no, actually the boards themselves have had their neutrons and electrons fused to form an incredibly dense material. If we don't do something, we'll eventually be absorbed by the house and become part of that black hole.
Goodness.
Miranda ceremoniously raised her hand to her mouth. True to her high station, she clutched a handkerchief in it as always.
My, but this is becoming rather trying, wouldn't you say?
Staring up at the giant, who had been forced down on one knee, Dee pulled a fistful of dirt from one of his coat's inner pockets.
Did you bring that just in case? It's not like you to be so well prepared. Oof.
Pushing the palm of his hand, and the human face that had surfaced on it, into the tightly packed ball of earth, Dee took a step to the left. The Count's spear had managed to stop the walls in front of and behind them, but it would be difficult to do anything about those to the left and the right, and the ceiling had already dropped to about 6.5 feet. The Count lay face down on the floor.
Pardon me.
A softly perfumed sleeve came into contact with Dee. Standing to his left, Miranda had been pushed closer to him.
From what we just saw, it looks like we can depend on you. Is there anything you can do?
Her fragrant breath fell against Dee's face. It was like a bare tree in winter.
Give me a hand, Count.
But I can't get up very well.
Your hand.
Dee bent over and took the Count's left hand. As the nobleman furrowed his brow, the hunter unbuttoned Braujou's cuff, exposing his wrist. Dee forcefully flicked his little finger against it and caught the lifeblood that poured out into the palm of his left hand. Not a single drop was wasted.
Oh,